coming to you live from wherever. It's the Ticket Booth Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's special, edition of the Ticket Booth Podcast. I am your host, Brian Bevington. Who the fuck we got here? For you.
I went down the wrong pipe. Holy shit. I'm
Hey, you got to do it for
Krimes. Yeah, I just choked on water.
Okay, I'm Jeff. Glad to be back, and I have a little something to say. I mean, this won't be dated, but I am officially a college graduate.
Yeah, with my boy Jeff.
Yeah.
So my name is George, and I have actually a couple of things. I am about to be a high school graduate, and
Now you're dusting off.
and the day before I graduate, I will be seeing Booksmart 4 days before it comes out, so I get to see it early. Before
Yeah,
all you guys.
but there are people who are getting to see like 2 weeks early, so yeah, you're kind of getting beat there, bud.
That's still
I'm
I get
sorry,
to see
I
it early regardless.
I wanted to do that. Anyway, I might begin to see Rocketman 2 weeks early, so there's that. And who's the last guy we have here?
That would be me, and it is me, Jack, here again.
He's got some.
However, today we have some unfortunate news. A couple months in between the recordings of the previous podcast episodes, a very valuable member, maybe the best member of the podcast, has since left us.
About it.
Yes, the very own Paw Patrol recorder has been sat on by my friend and crunched to pieces.
Fuck your friend, man, for real.
It's been hard between us.
God, I'm fucking crying.
But it's gone. It was a loyal member, and the podcast,
Loyal.
I think we can all agree, will never be the same.
I mean, can we all agree that the Paw Patroller, that was its real name? If any of y'all took the time to know our Paw Patroller, you would know.
No, its
But-
real name is Brian.
No, this is what happened. It was our Tony Stark.
Wait, what?
It was our Tony Stark. It was our Tony Stark.
It was right before, and I did hear its final words. The Paw Patroller, as before the crunch, said to himself quietly, "I am Paw Patroller."
Wait a second. We haven't even said whether or not this Endgame set.
You're already spoiling
We haven't
it.
even said whether or not this is going to include spoilers.
Hey! What
Too
about
late.
this Endgame? I was just talking about the Paw Patrol boy. All right.
Yeah, we're talking about Paw
that's right.
Patrollers.
Yeah.
By the way, the Paw Patrol record was always Iron Man. You just never noticed. I played.
Speaking of Iron Man, let's talk about this little fight movie. This fight movie that some people have seen.
Okay, so there's this little indie that came out. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it. It's only playing in a few theaters. Not enough people got to see it, but I really love it. It's called Avengers Endgame. Okay, so before we get into this little indie that no one's ever heard of, we're going to talk about spoilers.
So if you're
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
The thing is, with this,
Iron
it's
Man
like
dies!
you can't even talk about like the first 10 minutes of this movie properly without
Without
even getting
like
spoilers.
spoiling.
Wait,
Yeah.
actually, the real thing is that, like, for one thing, I think the spoiler ban's already lifted. And second of all,
Yeah.
by the time
Yeah,
it has.
definitely.
this isn't even the case for like when the podcast comes out. It's more so the fact how by the time we were recording this podcast, I think everyone who cares enough to have seen Endgame who
Has
would be
already
pissed
seen
if
it.
they- thanks for finishing my sentence.
You're one of the 5 people who haven't seen
So-
it, and you still want to avoid spoilers. Hit pause on this podcast. Go
Well,
see it.
like, okay, I'm just asking, what are you fucking doing? Like, can't
It's already beat Titanic. It's already beat fucking Avatar. What
Not
are
yet,
you
but it's
doing?
It hasn't beat Avatar yet.
It's finna beat Avatar.
But by the way, did you guys see the tweet that I shared where it said like Avengers Endgame is underperforming its third weekend? It's dropped drastically. I'm like, it still was $2 billion, so
Yeah, but
I'm making billions of dollars, so it doesn't really
it
matter.
has more money than I make in fucking a week, which is none.
It grossed Infinity
It has
War-
more money than most people make in a year.
It has more money than people usually make in their entire lives.
It has more money than most companies make.
Well, besides
It
Disney,
has
because
more
Disney
money.
literally owns more money than the president.
David
Yeah.
Lynch has never seen that much money.
Okay, so let's really think about
Yeah,
this. Disney,
real.
seriously, every single movie that breaks records for how much money it makes is somehow involved with Disney, including Endgame, including Frozen, including Avatar is technically now
The
Disney
Force
because
Awakens.
it got bought. It's fucking a lot.
You want to know something? I realized that at the end of the day, if we're really going to think about it, the only reason Wreck-It Ralph 2 didn't beat Spider-Verse is because if you want to get technical about it, Spider-Verse is a Marvel fucking movie, and Marvel is completely connected to Disney.
Well, yeah.
Think about that. Disney basically was like, okay, yeah, if we give it to Wreck-It Ralph 2, everybody's going to be pissed, so let's give it to Spider-Verse, because it's a win for us either way.
Well, yeah.
I just realized that the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I hate Disney.
I don't really know what much to say other than the discourse regarding this movie is making me want to put a fucking gun in my mouth, regardless of what it's saying.
Yeah, but that's like it with every new popular good movie now, though.
Like, the discourse in this movie is intense. Some of it I could see, definitely. Like, I do think that in some ways the use of the female characters is a bit off-putting, but in other ways, I'm like, here's the thing. The discussion regarding Natasha's funeral is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. People are like, oh my god, this movie. Okay, here's the thing. There are reasons you could probably call this movie misogynistic, but one of them is not the fact that they didn't give Natasha a funeral. They have an entire 5-minute scene of her gang mourning her. Okay? Did you walk out of the theater during that scene? It's the same fucking thing that happened with 3 Billboards. People are like, oh my god, fucking, they made you sympathize with racist cop, and it's like, okay, did you miss the scene in the middle where he fucking got set on fire? Have you not seen that he got some comeuppance for what he did, and then he said, oh, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be an asshole? No, I guess people probably missed that scene because they wanted to look for something to complain about. I fucking hate film Twitter, and I fucking hate Stan Twitter, even though real Stans wouldn't sink this low to complain about shit. Fuck you, MCU Stans. Kindly from the bottom of my heart. You're all trash. I hate you all. I genuinely do. I hate you all. Good night.
Now, what were your thoughts on the movie?
I was gonna say.
What were your expectations going in, and did they fulfill them or
Okay,
exceed them or whatever?
so my expectations for this movie were the fact how I was looking forward to it because of the fact that I was so surprised by Infinity War last year. Like, do you guys remember last year when I was like, Infinity War is going to be trash?
I don't
Yeah.
think it'd be trash,
Because
but
I was just like, there's no way they're going to fit all this in the movie. Knowing Disney, they're not going to really take any creative risks. This movie's just going to be bad. And then I saw it and I was like, oh my god, I actually love this. And I had a little more hype for this movie. I was looking forward to seeing what they do, but I also have a lot of worries because I was like, I just know there is a chance they're going to do some stupid, convenient shit. Like, if they bring Gamora back, I swear to God, I will drive to the Russo Brothers' house and take a shit in their mailbox. Well, I'm never going to do that because they didn't have Goose the cat.
They already did.
No, I meant in Endgame. I didn't see.
Oh,
Goose.
in Endgame.
I didn't see Goose in the movie anywhere.
Yeah,
they brought her back
all the
in the movie.
stupid.
See, I don't care that they defeated Thanos. I'm just upset that we can get to see fucking Goose.
Where the fuck was the cat?
Yeah,
Where was Florkin?
but and everything they did with this movie and how they're able to do everything, I was satisfied with the way. Like, they obviously bring all the heroes back, but the way they do it isn't like, oh, so convenient. They actually, the way that it happens has actual like consequence with the story. I don't have much to say because you already know what this movie's gonna be. I love the time travel aaspect. I loved.
It handled it really well.
I loved the way the movie like handled some of the deeper themes of the movie because when a fucking movie about a bunch of people in spandex go to fight Krimes and they're able to make it emotional the way that works, well, then they've done their job.
Yeah.
And I usually don't say this with superhero movies, but the acting is fucking great. I don't know if people are like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. should win an Oscar, and I'm like, I think that's going a bit too far.
He does a good job, I think. I think I've only felt he phoned in a performance like once, and that was twice, and that's with Age of Ultron and Homecoming.
Age of Ultron, everyone phoned it in.
Yeah, Age of Ultron was
everyone
the biggest.
was phoning in at Age of Ultron.
That movie was a disaster from the get-go because Joss Whedon went insane. I feel bad for Joss Whedon because Disney just fucked him over. Well, I mean, isn't he also an abuser or something?
Yeah.
Okay, fuck him. Never mind. I feel no sympathy for him. He deserves Age of Ultron. So yeah, I don't know what to say. I liked a lot of the stuff in this movie. It was better than Captain Marvel. It was better than some of the other MCU movies as of recently, except for Infinity War, because I think that might be a little bit better. Well, Infinity War is definitely a better movie, but
Infinity War is way better.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Enjoyed.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I feel like they gave all the heroes more to do as a unit.
Yeah, Infinity War felt like they wanted to, get more to stuff rather than just like Endgame, which does have some like filler moments in it, but
some
too much.
What? It didn't have that many,
Mark, what are you doing?
Do you want me to get into my thoughts?
Actually,
quickly?
I don't really have much to say. So yeah, it's really good. 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. If I have anything else to say, I'll probably just say it later. Oh, so Mark, you go next, I guess.
Oh shit. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the part where Mark, like, spoils the movie for people, I guess.
I really love this part.
All right. So I was genuinely surprised because I really, really liked the first hour of Endgame. But as soon as the time travel elements kind of got introduced, I was like, what the fuck? And I was just kind of sitting there because I was baffled. Because the way that they spent the first hour so, like, melancholically and just how kind of slow paced it was, like, it definitely feels like, okay, I could see if this film ends with them being no way to, like, change anything. Like, it genuinely feels, because, like, basically all hope is lost for, like, the first hour until fucking Ant-Man shoots out of a magical asshole in the fucking space-time continuum, and he comes in, he's like, hey guys, we
That
can go
rat
back in
defeated Thanos.
time!
That rat is the real fucking, like, he defeated Thanos.
The rat is the reason everyone came back to life.
Remy from Ratatouille caused Thanos to be defeated.
No, but just
Ryan, did you steal that from Carson Runkus?
No? Wait, oh, did he joke about that too?
Yes.
I didn't know. I generally didn't know. I don't watch Carson Rehnquist that much. At all.
yikes.
Wait till
But
someone petition to remove the rat from Endgame.
Jesus.
Oh no, Jeff.
Oh yeah, like they did with The Departed.
Thank you for explaining that obvious joke.
Anyways, just I felt my biggest problem with it was just how quickly it changed, because you go from this hour of like slow building, and
Actually, I can
really,
see
if it's
that.
building to anything, it's building to literal just depression, and I really enjoyed that. But then it makes like a huge fucking left turn, and it's just like, hey, we can change this, and there's no real like build up into like them, oh, maybe we could do this, maybe we can't. They just fucking immediately they're able to like, we can use this and we're doing it right now. And I'm just like, oh, really? So it's going all ADHD now, huh? And then they just fucking start going back into like old set pieces, familiar places, yada yada yada. And I'm just like, oh my god, why? I just didn't enjoy the fan service, I guess. And this is coming from somebody
Yeah,
who
it's
isn't a fan.
very, very, very fan servicey. Like, this is a movie that you can tell the writers really like, let's throw a bone for some of the hardcore MCU fans that are watching. Well, not some, all of them, but you get what I mean.
In theory, it's fine. Like, because
Oh, yeah.
the people who went to go see this movie were fans. Like, just look at the $2 billion
Oh,
at the
no
box
shit.
office already. Yeah,
I saw
it's
this
all
movie
like
on Thursday night, and everyone who was in there was a dedicated fan, it seemed,
Yeah.
because everyone was, like, clapping when, like, literally anything in the third act happened. Like,
Yeah.
the people next
It
to me were
was-
crying. My friends next to me were crying.
it's definitely a movie for the fans, and coming from somebody who hasn't really been very.
movie made
like-
for the fans.
It is. It's a movie made for fans. That's what it is,
It's a movie
essentially.
made
Sorry,
for the fans.
I was imitating David Ayer.
The thing is, I'm trying not to say that and sound negative, which is impossible for some people to take, because, like, I said in my review, like, it's a movie for the fans, and immediately I got responded with, why does that make it bad? And I was like, well, I'd never said it made it bad. It was just a movie for fans, and I'm not a fan, so I didn't connect with it as much as I thought I would.
To be
The
fair,
only
you have
real-
to have a high IQ to understand your criticisms.
Fair enough. But anyways, just in a sense, I felt the only like genuinely effective stuff was either in the final 30 minutes of the movie or in the first hour, because I feel the conclusions with Thor, not even conclusions, just like you get a wrap up for the main three characters that anybody really gave a shit about, that being like emotionally giving a shit about.
The Hulk?
Well, two of them, not.
I'm saying like you get an emotional conclusion to like their kind of arcs and what they were like, their challenges and them changing. And like, because you get Thor and his scene with his mom, right? It's the scene with the mom. And then you also get Tony Stark and his sacrifice and all that. And then Captain America going back, staying in the past and all that shit. And I think that works effectively. I think the best parts of the film is when it concludes itself. But when it's trying to be this huge odyssey that's like, oh, yeah, this and then this, and we could go back in time, we could change all this, we can like, but how are we changing all this when we're taking shit from alternate universes, and how are we able to jump through all of these alternate universes at the exact same time, but also like not fuck up anything, is just kind of like, okay, you're pushing it a bit here, dude, but I can accept it. It's a comic book movie. And then it just goes all balls to the wall for the last hour, and I kind of enjoyed it. I genuinely hate it, though, when Captain America just goes, or he just gets the hammer. I remember I looked at the screen, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's bad. And
Bro,
then he
I
started using it.
Fucking kidding me? That was one of the best parts
Are
of
you
the movie.
kidding?
Okay, no. Okay, I said, oh, fuck, that's bad. And then he started using it, and I was like, oh, fuck, that's actually kind of cool. I regret saying that, because, like, I just genuinely don't like Captain America. I don't
Sam.
like him. I think he's a boring character.
Thank
But
you.
I-
Thank you. High five.
But even with that, I still thought his conclusion, like I liked the choice that the film ended on the note of him slow dancing with his fiance in the past, and I was like, yo, it was different, and I feel like that's a lot of what the movie is. It's very different and it's very unpredictable in a way. Like compare like this movie to something else you'd see, like that a bunch of audiences would swarm to view. Like this would probably keep tons of people on the edges of their seat, but it just didn't with me. Some of the stuff resonated, a lot of it didn't, though. Like, I was genuinely there was a good amount of people I was hoping would die. Like, I was not taking too kindly to the fact that Hawkeye didn't suicide himself. And then again, that also made me really fucking question it, because I was like, you have to sacrifice something, but she kind of like kicked herself, and she made you let go. You weren't really sacrificing it. You were just fucking unconsensually forced to let go of somebody.
Avengers Endgame is accused of rape.
of obviously, like
God,
it would.
My jokes are terrible. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. No, but like
Black Widow pulled a Lena Dunham.
she really did. I just feel with Endgame, it started off really good, and then it got really fucking bad, and then it just got it leveled itself out just a little bit to becoming like meeting this point of passable for me, but still enjoyable.
Yeah.
But as much as I can say I enjoyed it, I can also say that I really found myself scratching my head or just at points just completely annoyed by it. I'm mixed on it. I think it's kind of good, kind of really bad. And so I think I'm sticking with a solid 5 on it for now. And just in general, I can't picture myself rewatching it unless I'm like with friends or anything. Like if they're doing like, oh, we're gonna watch all the Marvel movies, I could see myself watching it. But outside of it, like for my own entertainment, I couldn't see it. I am genuinely excited for the next Guardians movie, though. I kind of want to see what they're able
Same.
to do
Yeah.
with Thor.
Yes,
I'm too
Yeah, that's
excited
gonna
for
be
that.
cool.
Also, I just want to briefly mention the fact how when Captain America picked up Thor's hammer, I was questioning that hardcore for. I was like, "What the fuck? Isn't the whole point of his hammer that only Thor can pick it up?"
Well, if you watched Age of Ultron, they hinted at that.
Who the fuck rewatches Age of Ultron?
No, did you see what?
Are you kidding me?
Did you see what the
They actually
Russo
did
said about
kind of
that?
hint at that because when Captain America was trying to grab the hammer, it kind of nudged a little bit.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what the Russos said about that? They were like, Captain America could have done it all along, but he just wasn't trying to hit on Thor's ego. They actually said this.
But yeah, when that moment happened, Peter, I got serious goosebumps. Like I was like,
Okay.
oh my god!
I think I did too. Okay. Best part of Infinity War, Hulk dabs.
Yes.
Okay,
Fortnite.
that was a pretty good review.
Stop.
Thor,
Moving on.
Thor
Stop.
plays Fortnite.
Oh, when
The guy
Thor's
on the
like
TV called me
saying the
Takeda.
N-word.
Okay,
Thor
in all
says the
seriousness
N-word
though,
on
I
Fortnite.
Okay, so let's really be real. This movie doesn't feel like it really is accurate to Fortnite because the fact that if this movie were R-rated, that kid on the fucking PlayStation would have called Korg the N-word. Because that's how kids online are. They
He
just say
really
racist
just-
slurs. They don't care.
it was pretty obvious that they were going to put Fortnite in there because Thanos on Fortnite was such a big thing that they were like, okay, we have to put Fortnite in here.
That's hilarious.
I really liked Endgame. I actually really liked it. I thought it was really great. If you're not a fan of this franchise, obviously you're not going to get much out of it. But I thought it was really good. In terms of like an enjoyment level, it's like a 5 out of 5. But in terms of like an objective level, it's got some problems. I think
Yeah.
Infinity War is probably the better movie.
Well, it is the better movie.
It's like Infinity War. I could probably watch 1 billion times.
Oh, Sam.
Endgame, it's not very rewatchable. And another thing about Infinity War, that Infinity War it kind of stands on its own. Like, you can watch it without watching any of the other Marvel movies.
Okay, I don't know about that.
With Endgame, you kind of have to watch all of them to really get an emotional impact out of it.
Except you can fucking skip Age of Ultron because who cares?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can also
Nobody
skip.
I mean, I would agree with that, except that there's still like 8 Marvel movies that I've never seen. So like,
Well, Scarlet Witch is an Age of Ultron, and there's only 3 Marvel movies. Well,
Yeah.
4, except for the fact that I watched Iron Man 2, but I was like barely paying attention to it, and I was on my phone or something. So you can say I've seen it, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, and also, you guys like how they barely used how they hyped up Captain Marvel so much they barely used her in the movie.
There's right off. It's like, oh, she's going to save her
Yeah.
Wow.
she does like
Spends most of the movie.
she really
fucking
does
off.
fuck all in them. She really does
She
fuck
does
all in the
fuck
movie.
Seriously,
nothing.
they had her
Yeah.
for 2 movies. And I'm like, I kind of
Yeah.
want to see this movie.
Can I just and if I can interrupt here for a minute, I'm not even one of those people that like hate Brie Larson or hate Captain Marvel. Like I'm kind of
me either.
neutral on. Yeah, I'm like I think the Captain Marvel movie. I was like it was like fine, but like
Yeah,
I was
fine.
expecting it like okay, surely if they're gonna put like a 2-hour long movie before like a movie as massive as Endgame, surely she must have like somewhat like a significance in the movie, but. She shows up for the first 5 minutes, just says, "I'm gonna look for Thanos." Then at the end, then she goes away, and then 3 hours later, she's like, "I'm gonna blow up a ship."
It's fucking
She does.
bullshit
Well,
that they didn't
That's
have her
really
in
the
it.
only reason she's in the movie is to blow up a ship at the end.
Seriously.
And the only thing that changes about her is that she gets a haircut.
Yeah, it's genuinely
Wow.
fucking kind of insulting.
I was,
how they
and
just
I also wanted to add. Sorry, I know this is George's segment, but I just want to add this. I was genuinely scared for the movie that like we were gonna have a moment where Captain Marvel was gonna kill Thanos, and if they did that, that would have actually like ruined a lot of it for me because that would have been so unearned, in my opinion. Like to go through a movie this long and to explore so many characters like this, and then to have somebody that we're supposed to care about come in and destroy a character as big as this would be so unearned and like it's not even like it does. Not only is it unsatisfactory, like in a bad way, but it just feels wrong. But and of course, she
Quite
attempts
honestly,
to, but then
I
obviously
think-
that's not what happens, and I was happy with the way they finished it off.
Wait. Okay, wait. I just want to ask Jack. Do you mean like how, like she's a newcomer and just like having we built up this whole series. We have tons of characters. Like one of them can easily defeat Thanos. We just have this one who we only know for one movie, and then she's the one who eventually does it.
What I'm saying is that to make like a movie this
know.
big, to have a character that's only been on screen for like hasn't even yeah.
Wait, you mean like how she isn't? I thought you meant like just like here's the thing. The reason why I mainly brought up how long we've known her is just the fact how like this is expectations before Endgame. But like if you're watching Endgame and then she pops up at the end, you're like, oh my god, you didn't even bother to have her most of the movie, and then she defeats Thanos. That'd be okay. Yeah, that'd be insane.
Yeah, she like. Yeah,
Sorry, I was confused there.
Yeah, but like
That'd be awful.
Movie today
That would
Jesus.
The more I think it, the more
And
I
even
think about
then,
it,
like I was completely open to it because like I saw her in the advertisement, and even the fact that even though she didn't necessarily take center stage, I was like, I'm sure like maybe they'll develop her more or we'll see something more. They'll make her more interesting. No, she literally does nothing. You've got a 3-hour-long movie. This is a perfect opportunity to makes her somewhat interesting or develop her. No, she just does nothing.
I got other planets to save.
Why would you go to
That's
another
literally what she
planet?
says verbatim.
Why would you go to another planet when the only planet that really matters that can change everything is at your fucking fingertips and you're already there, but you don't want to fucking help them because what?
That's really the thing is like when you're saying like, oh, we got to solve other planets. Like, what other planets matter more than Earth, or half the population got wiped? Like, what other planet matters more than the fucking Earth, who literally half of it is now gone?
No. See, it's like half the universe, but I mean, I'd say Earth because like all the fucking stones were there at one point.
Well, yeah. So who the fuck cares about any other ones? Yeah, fuck you.
Literally, who gives a fuck about Zangar or whatever?
Oh no, Mars is in trouble. A Martian died.
Oh no.
Matt Damon broke his helmet.
Abraham Lincoln's dying on Mars, guys.
Gandhi's dying on Saturn.
Fuck, dude, is
I was actually gonna say they should have had Captain Marvel come out after Endgame. Quite honestly,
Yeah. And one thing I just
Yeah.
want to
it wouldn't have made the movie much better, but it would have made more sense.
briefly say is the fact how, like, the thing about the Brie Larson being written out thing, there's no reason. There's literally no reason unless Brie Larson was, like, greedy or something like that, like, okay, you only have this movie, I'm only this movie for 5 minutes, I just want her on the set one day. There's no reason why she couldn't have been in the movie more. There's literally nothing. Why couldn't she have been in more of it?
She pulled a Bruce Willis and only showed
This
up on.
movie has 20 okay, I don't know about 20, that's just an estimate. This movie has quite a bit of characters in the lead. You couldn't have just had one more.
it was a bizarre
It's not
choice,
that hard.
and it did not work in their favor.
God.
It kind of brings down like a lot of what I really like about the movie
Okay,
as well.
here's the thing. If you say the movie is misogynistic for all the controversy and that's one of the reasons, I understand that because there's really no reason why it could have been like it could have just been easily avoided. She could have been the whole movie. Simple. If they didn't hype her up with 2 movies and put her in all the advertising, I don't know if I would have cared because I don't really find her too interesting of a character. But here's the thing: if they hype her up this much, she's only in the movie for 5 minutes. Okay, you're scummy. Like that is brilliant advertising, but it's not very good for the people who have been waiting this long. Like we waited a year and we were like,
Yeah,
oh,
this is
Captain Marvel's
part
gonna
of
be
the
in all this
reason.
movie. What
Yeah,
the
this
fuck?
is part of the reason I hate Disney.
That is scummy as fuck. Here's the thing: it's the second thing involving Captain Marvel that was built up insanely. With the first one being the shit with Samuel L. Jackson's eye. God, what is it with them baiting the fuck out of us and literally having nothing? I mean, not that I care insanely, but at the same time, it's like, wow, we've been waiting this long and you just give us jack shit. Wow, good job, Disney.
On an enjoyment level, it's a 5 out of 5. On an objective level, it's probably closer to a 4 out of 5, maybe a 4.5, maybe. But I'm a little biased because I'm kind of already invested in this universe. Age of Ultron sucks, but that's besides the point. And yes, I did cry when Iron Man died. So probably the only time I have ever cried in a Marvel movie.
I really, really enjoyed Endgame, to put it lightly. I found it very entertaining and enthralling, despite the 3-hour-long runtime. Thing is, with a film like this, it was gonna be hard, I feel like, to mess it up, largely. But I feel like they pulled a lot of it off. I think a lot of some of the aspects of the film that I think are weaker, I think are very much forgivable. With the whole time travel aspect about it, with stuff like time travel, it's like I think that is a lot more easier to forgive, in my opinion, when it comes to movies and television, because at the end of the day, it does make no sense. I feel like obviously that doesn't mean you shouldn't care, but when it comes to the grand scheme of things, as long as it mostly makes sense and isn't complete gibberish, and there's some sort of self-awareness about it, I think you can do it well. Even though there's other things that that like after a while I was just kind of thinking about, where it's just like like
it's like Back to the Future
Gamora,
2.
yeah, but like I was kind of thinking about, well, there's a lot of stuff that they bring up the film and that actually does make sense, but then there's kind of other things where I'm like, well, if the original Gamora is alive now, then what does would Thanos does that mean Thanos could have still gotten the Soul Stone, and therefore would if he doesn't have the Soul Stone, would he have thrown somebody else, or does that completely retcon the fact that people were evaporated? It just kind of doesn't make sense after a while. But at the end of the day, does it really matter? It's a 3-hour-long massive blockbuster. You're not there necessarily to pick apart CinemaSin style the time travel logic. You're there to watch the grand picture, and I think they pull that off. I think the action is really great. I think the music is freaking great. I think the final the final fight sequence, it could have been a complete disaster, and it could have been complete CGI schlock. At a moment here or there, it kind of turns to that, but I feel like they pulled it off enough. Like it is very satisfactory just to see a bunch of these characters all together, and especially seeing Valkyrie ride a Stegosaurus. It looks amazing. Yes, bruh.
It's funny you guys just brought up the bruh sound effect, because when I saw the movie first time, there was a kid next to me who literally said that like many times during the movie.
I've got something better for you. as the movie started, somebody's phone wasn't turned off. Lucky it was literally just like doing like when the lights were turning off, and the Megalovania theme played on his phone.
Going back to Jack's time travel thing, one thing about it is that no movie about time travel is ever going to get it right. Let's be real. Because time travel doesn't exist.
The closest
I
the closest that I've seen is one that I don't even have any clue how it works, which is like, you guys seen Primer? I think Mark, have you seen Primer?
Yeah, Primer.
Yeah, I have no idea how
I've
that
seen
film
Primer.
works, but from what I'm hearing, it makes perfect sense.
Steins Gate is perfect sense.
I think, like
I'll even give it credit, like some stuff like even like to a degree. I think Back to the Future also like they a lot of that stuff. Obviously it's not scientifically correct. But
did you
the way,
steal
like,
that from me? I'm sorry.
No, I was no. That is a legitimate example. But like a lot of the stuff in that film, there is actual stuff in that movie that like they did make sure makes sense, so that way it doesn't like destroy other things within the movie. So I can actually give it credit for that. As for this, it's like I think they do a pretty good job, even though technically speaking, with the amount of stuff that's going on, there's if you really tried to search, you'll probably will find an inconsistency here or there. But I think it mostly makes sense.
Well, okay. The real thing is that like I think about some logical issues I probably have with the movie, like how if you go back in time, like nothing, like if you do anything, nothing's changed. So you like go back in time, shoot JFK. It's like, well, nothing will change. Well,
but then there's also the other, the butterfly effect, which means you could go back in time and save JFK, but then we come back to 2019 and Mega Hitler exists or something.
Well, yeah.
Mega Hitler.
Yes.
It's like Mega
Hitler. Huh.
No,
even though
no.
Mega Streisand.
Because JFK was in office long after Hitler died, but whatever.
No. I think what would happen if JFK lived was we'd have like a mass outbreak of fucking infidelity.
No, it's like they go back in time. They go back to the 1800s, and they just fucking dab in old pictures. They teach the dab to people in the 1800s.
The end credit scene.
They go to the slave era, and it's like, can you please save me from this plantation? It's like, okay, I won't, but I'll teach you how to dab. So okay, so you put your arm in front of your face, and you have your other arm out.
Yeah.
It's just like now you're just reminding me that do you remember that like that Treehouse of Horror episode where Homer gets the toaster and he goes back in time? And, yeah. Oh wait. Oh, I wish I didn't sit on that fish.
Okay, just go back to the 1700s and just teach old people how to do
Go back to the 1700s.
Go back to the 1400s to teach Christopher Columbus how to do the Orange Justice.
No, go back to the Revolution.
Yo, what's up, my native? Americans? What the hell?
No, go to the Civil War times and teach Robert E. Lee how to floss.
No. Go to Soviet Russia
and racism.
Go teach Stalin. All right, I want you to go teach Stalin how to hit the nene.
Oh my god.
Guys, go back to the Big Bang. Teach God how to woe.
The Big Bang was God hitting the woe.
No. Go back to the 1990s. Go to Al Qaeda and teach Osama bin Laden how to do the sports.
They would have done the like. You think Al Qaeda would have just done the floss in hostage videos?
Go back to the times of Jerusalem and teach Jesus how to do the Macarena.
All of this reminds me of one episode of Gravity Falls where fucking Mabel teaches like pioneers like what a calculator is.
Why are we talking about Avengers a minute ago?
What's Avengers? I want to talk about Gravity Falls.
I would go back in time and
okay. You know what, guys? Avengers Endgame. It's really good. I don't have anything to say about it. 8 out of 10.
Can I just say
maybe
one more
7? But yeah.
Do you think
it's really entertaining?
Do you think the reason why the Romans placed Jesus on the position that he was in the cross was because of the fact that someone went back in time and told him how to T-pose?
I've got a better question. Do you think God stays in heaven because he too fears what mankind has created?
Yeah, probably.
More than likely. That's
I'm very proud of the joke I just made. I'm very proud. I'm not
he saw Avengers Endgame, and he was like, "Fuck y'all, I'm not coming down yet."
Wow, I didn't know God was James Cameron.
He saw fucking Ready Player One. And was like, nah, fuck that shit.
No.
He saw Unplanned.
He saw James Charles at the Met Gala and said, "Fuck you."
Oh no.
That's why he's still not here yet.
All right, so I had high expectations for this movie, very high expectations, and I loved Infinity War, and I couldn't wait to see how they followed up on that. And I've seen all the Marvel movies. I've seen all of them in theaters, well, except Dark World. I've seen all of them since Iron Man 2, and I've been a fan since. And I was happy to hear that this movie was really good. And I saw all my friends opening night, and it was a thrilling experience. I thought the first hour was fantastic with how they dealt with like the aftermath of what happened at the end of Infinity War, with all the aftermath of the snap, and how everyone was dealing with the grief of it. I honestly, the 3-hour runtime, it didn't feel as long. Like, it really took good advantage of its runtime for all the stuff that was going on in this. I think it handled it really well. I think it had a nice, really good, it had a nice 3-act structure, and the way all the characters interacted with each other was really fun to see. I loved everyone's little of chemistry. Like I like human, like Banner Hulk or whatever we call it. That was a surprise, but it was not. It was funny.
The memes. Oh my god, the memes.
Yes.
They're so good. Did you see the one with Shrek 2? It's like they're at the dinner table. It's the dinner scene, and then he's going back and forth, and he's just like, I got the best of both worlds, and look at me now. And it's it's like Donkey, Fiona, and frickin' all of them. They're just looking at him.
Great. How when they did the time travel thing, I liked how they revisited a bunch of the other movies. Yeah, I loved all the little cameos, nice little surprises, and the final battle was. I think it was worth all this build up for that, because that final battle sequence is just unbelievable. Most of my fanboy, oh my god, moments were in those last 30 minutes, because holy shit, I was on the edge of my seat. That moment where all the heroes came back through the portals and everyone gathered together to take on Thanos and his army. That huge group shot that was everything. 22 movies or whatever has been leading up to this. And of course, I mentioned how I squealed like a fanboy when Captain America picked up Mjolnir. The way they ended it, the way Iron Man was the one to end it all and kill Thanos. I honestly kind of expected they would do that, because, I mean, considering he was the one who started all this, so I figured it was natural that he'd be the one to end it. And I think they handled it really well, and the way they ended all the characters' arcs was really satisfying. And overall, I think it really satisfied my expectations. Like I said, some of the problems you discussed are kind of part of the reason why I hesitate to call it a perfect movie, but I'd say it's a really good 9 out of 10.
My final thoughts on the film, I'd like to say, is the fact that Thanos was just trying to build his little house, only to get fucking griefed by the Avengers, was genuinely brutal. Like, he was just trying to mine some cobblestone, get his shit together. But no, the Avengers had to be like, "Hey, we're gonna put some TNT under your door," and they fucking blew him up.
They put him under his pressure plate. That was mean.
They put a pressure plate down, and they put TNT under it, and then fucking Thanos' whole head blew up. It was like, they decapitated him.
Wait.
Jesus Christ! They did it with an axe, the diamond axe, I think, right?
A diamond axe, like in Minecraft.
Yeah, literally Minecraft. He was just trying to build a house, and they fucking griefed him like assholes.
He was farming potatoes.
He was a potato farmer. He was playing UHC, and he didn't have any golden apples.
You know, and you know what his final words were?
So on movie that actually is a small indie that no one's ever heard of. Well, we've heard of it and we've seen it because we're cool. That High Life, bruh. directed by this girl named Claire Denis Villeneuve.
Denise. Yes.
Denis.
Dennis
Claire
Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Oh no!
Oh, it's Dennis
What have I
Villeneuve.
done?
Wait, Denis
What?
Vallelonga.
Why am I here?
So yeah, let's get on the movie that Mark thought I was gonna hate.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna fucking hate this movie.
Nice. But it's now my favorite movie of the year so far. And why I mess is Ron, as always. Okay, so anyway, this is a movie that I first heard of it back when I heard this French director who I wasn't too familiar with at the time. Was going to be making her first English language movie, that French director being Claire Denis. I still have not seen any of other movies besides this, but I really, really, really want to, and I can't wait to see what she directs next. Because I went to see this movie, and just from the opening shot, I was already into it. The sad part is I'm probably going to have more to talk about this movie than Endgame, which is the biggest movie that we're talking about here. But with High Life, I actually have a lot to say.
I'm not even gonna give an intro to this one. I fucking loved it. I loved it. I adored this movie. It's gonna be very hard for another movie this year to top it. Quite honestly, High Life is definitely my favorite film of 2019 so far. I love pretty much every aspect to it. Robert Pattinson is great as he usually is. Robert Pattinson has made a really great turnaround after Twilight with Good
What are you
Time.
talking about? That's his best work.
And now this.
I'm just kidding.
Julianne Binoche was amazing. Mia Goth is great as well.
Get out of
Andre
here.
3000 is great as well. I should probably also mention that in Endgame, Iron Man says, "I love you 3000," and this guy's name is Andre 3000.
But I just want to briefly mention, I never expected fucking Andre 3000 to be in a movie like this, and I kind of love that he is.
I actually heard that Claire Denis fought to get him in the movie because she liked his music.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Outcast fucking slaps. No one fight me on that because you're wrong.
It's got a great ensemble cast for the most part. The production design and cinematography were awesome. I love the score. I love the visual effects. This movie is really thematic intense. It's very suspenseful, including the one moment towards the third act where one of the side characters rapes Mia Goth's character. That got me. I was shocked by that moment. Also, the fuck box. Oh my god.
Can we guys just
That
go-
scene is
can we
fucking
point out how
horrific.
Can we point out how Mia Goth went from Suspiria to this? Oh my god, that is. First, you're in Suspiria, then you're in High Life. Two movies where insanely fucked up things happen.
Not only that, but she's married to Shia LaBeouf. While we're on the topic of Mia Goth dying in movies, let's talk about the black hole scene.
That was the scene.
Bruh. That was the scene that fucking
that was a
happened.
total bruh moment.
Yeah.
I liked that. Okay, what did you think about the effects in that scene? Because I've heard people be like, okay, it's amazing until she fucking stretches, and then I'm like, what?
No, the effects were great.
Well, first of all, apparently that's actually scientifically accurate. That's apparently what actually happens when you enter a black hole. And second, I thought it looked convincing. It's not.
It reminded me of Twin Peaks: The Return, if anything.
No, it's not like Raiders of the Lost Ark visual effects or anything like that. Not on that level, but I thought it was convincing. I thought it looked real. I don't know how much more I really have to say about High Life. It's amazing. I'm also a huge sci-fi nut, so I'm probably a little biased with this one. But yeah, High Life on both an enjoyment level and an objective level. 10 out of 10.
Like, I love the way that the atmosphere of the movie is presented, and I love, like, Mark brought this up before I saw it, how this movie, it really stands on its own in terms of, like, here's the thing. When you could say that parts of this movie remind you, like, say, like a modern day 2001, but really the movie as a whole isn't like 2001 really at all. Same with other space movies. Like, I hear people compare it to Interstellar, well, fucking, but even then, okay, it has
There's
to be
nothing you can really compare it to,
yeah,
which I love.
Yeah.
you could say Interstellar, but that's only have to do
Not
with
even
the fact there's a bunch of
Interstellar,
people.
honestly.
There's a bunch of people in a group on a spaceship.
I
and
mean, okay,
they're about to go to a black hole.
maybe,
George,
maybe the black hole aspect, but
Yeah.
that's literally it.
Wait, I guess you could say it's
Stellar
like Jeff's
doesn't have
favorite movie of all
doesn't
time.
have a fuck box.
Jeff's favorite
That's the
movie of all
thing.
time is a movie called The Black Hole.
That doesn't have a fuck box either.
Wait, doesn't? Shit, I'm
No, it
disappointed. I'm not
doesn't.
watching it now.
Because it's a Disney movie, Brian.
So, They have
You know
balls.
Disney doesn't
Disney made Song
take
of the
risks.
South. They have no fucking
You
dignity.
know Disney
okay?
doesn't care about quality.
Here's the thing. Disney made Song of the South and made a fucking ride based off it. They have no morals. If they can make money off Song of the South, they put it on a fucking Blu-ray, I'm telling you. And, okay, getting back to High Life. All performances are amazing, especially Robert Pattinson. His career is like a sandwich, where the bread is really good, but the meat tastes like shit. Because the bread is pre-Twilight, where he was Cedric Diggory, and the meat is Twilight era, and then
the bread after that is Good Time and this.
and Lost City of Z, and what other movies has he been in recently that were good?
The 9/11 movie.
Shut up. That was years ago, so the joke doesn't work. Haha. And
No, that's in the meat.
so he's doing good as of recently. I mean, the meat tastes like shit, but the bread's good. And I can't see what he's got. Oh, his next movie is going to be from the director of The Witch. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of The Witch. The effects didn't bother me. They bothered some people, but they didn't bother me. I love all the ideas it presents, like the unique aspect of like just the whole plot of sending these death row inmates into space. When I first saw the trailer and all that stuff, I didn't know this movie was about that, because the fact, like, I expect this movie to be like, okay, a bunch of people in space because they're like a team with like NASA or some shit. But it's when I found the actual plot.
It probably is NASA, though.
Like, did anyone expect this to be a movie about a bunch of death row inmates in space with a little, like guinea pigs?
I didn't know what this movie was going to be about, honestly.
I had no idea about.
I had no idea either.
I don't think
Yeah,
we did.
That was quite a
We
surprise.
just went in and we thought, oh, this movie looks pretty cool. It's a
So
sci-fi movie.
Though I guess it kind of makes
the
sense.
trailer, and that didn't really tell me anything.
Though I guess it kind of makes sense because Robert Pattinson's character looks like fucking Jesse Pinkman.
He does a little bit.
Oh my god! Imagine, I want to see Robert Pattinson and Aaron
They've got
Paul.
the same
in a-
haircut.
Wait, I want to see Aaron Paul and Robert Pattinson in a buddy cop movie. It's like
Yeah.
The Nice Guys, but with just Jesse and his character and Robert Pattinson's character from this movie.
No, Aaron Paul has to act like his character in BoJack Horseman.
The way this movie's put together, I love. And this movie's slow, but it never feels boring at all. The movie flies by for me because it's like you just indulge in everything this movie has to say and everything this movie's doing. I hate to be that guy. It's like you just need to think about it, man. There's like tons of like little things you need to notice.
So dense.
That's kind of the case because like it's more so a movie that is at its best when you really like indulge in what it's trying to say. When you think more about like the deeper meat to some of the ideas that it presents, and also the score that plays during the fuck box scene, incredible. The fuck box in general, incredible. I want to put a fuck box in my house.
Okay.
I
Moving on.
It's called a bedroom. It's called a bedroom.
What did you think of that one scene?
With Mia Goth.
Yep.
Yikes. Fucking yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, I also love the idea that this movie had with reproduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
with
guess
what
you
it
could
did,
say-
like just collecting the character's sperm.
I
Some of them-
guess
some
you
of
could
them
say.
deny it.
Yeah, I want
I
to hear
guess
what
you
he
could
said.
say the film was pretty raw.
Hey.
God damn it! And like with like aspects of it, like the scene where fucking Juliette Binoche puts Robert Pattinson's semen into Mia Goth and stuff like that.
Oh boy.
This movie is. Oh, by the way, I just want to mention, please, for the love of God, do not watch this movie with your grandma.
Oh. No.
Yeah, you watched it with your grandma.
Actually, yeah, I'll watch it with my grandma.
You watched it with your grandma.
My grandma liked Hereditary, so she'll definitely like this.
My
Oh
grandma
my
doesn't even
God.
watch movies in general. One of her hands doesn't even work.
She can't escape if she wants to. She's gonna have to be stuck in the fucking theater with you for 2 hours.
Oh my God! Damn. Wow.
You're
I'm
holding
not
her
offended.
hostage at that point.
I'm not even offended. Actually, I was close to watching this movie with my mom because she had to come to the theater with me because I got carded when I saw this movie. But she didn't stay with me. She was able to leave because she
Oh my God.
Imagine if she'd stayed though. Oh my God, that'd be the most awkward.
That would have
thing
been
in my
as
life.
bad as the time I took my mom.
Yeah, this is
saw me,
not a movie that you should watch with your grandparents.
Imagine
Bring the
watching.
kids.
Like the cinematography is fucking gorgeous. Like I know it's something that a lot of people seriously. I love the use of color. I love like the way it's presented. Like I said, the score's amazing and it is able to complement every scene. Also, I love the use of color at the very end. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Also, I think the movie ended on a perfect note as well. Like okay, so once fucking Juliette Binoche's character dies, I was like, where's this movie gonna go after this? And then they had the whole aspect of when Willow's grown up, when when Robert Pattinson and Willow are just like older. One thing I was confused about was that I was like, holy shit, why is Robert Pattinson still just as skinny? But then I realized that the difference is probably that he has more hair. I was like, Willow looks like a fucking teenager now, so I think that Robert Pattinson's just like an old man. But maybe I'm
Apparently,
wrong.
you don't really age very much in space.
Well,
so...
I mean,
Yeah.
actually, that is true, but
Especially if you're Robert Pattinson.
wow, I don't know anything about space. Well, then again,
You don't.
I maybe never want to go into space anyways.
Yeah, this movie kind of scared me into not going to space.
Yeah,
Even though when I
also-
was little, I really wanted to be an astronaut.
My favorite scene in the movie was either my two possible favorite scenes for this movie were both ones where the main characters went into the black hole. I can't tell. I think my favorite was the one where Mia Goth went in the black hole because that was just intense in a way that I loved. Like when her fucking head exploded, I was like, holy shit. I think this is a very, very interesting movie to definitely see. Whether or not you like it, I definitely recommend you at least watch it. Because you're at least going to get something interesting. And Mark compared whether or not I'd like this movie to my thoughts on the house that Jack built. And, well, simple answer, this movie's actually good.
Bruh.
I
Yeah,
would say it.
It
It had to be said. It had to be said.
Bruh.
I mean, quite honestly, how could you really compare the two? They're two completely different movies.
And everything I love about like art house cinemas in this movie, I loved everything about it. Well, the performances, score, the way it built up tension, the way it like how it had a bunch of intense shit, the plot and where it went. There's a lot of amazing moments in it. Not much else to say. It's really beautiful and fucked up in the right ways. And I can't wait to check out more of their Denise films. 9 out of 10.
I fucking hated it. It was awful. Nothing made sense. I actually really I liked High Life. I liked it about as much as I figured I would, because I knew if we're talking about all in circle, it would have like excellent direction, a really keen sense of framing from the cinematography standpoint. Like it feels in a way that every cut, every scene, every shot, it feels stiff to the point of it feels like this needs to be here. It doesn't feel like loose or disjointed in a way. And I mean, it does feel a bit disjointed, but that's getting more towards the plot where it's like the thing where it's like, oh, it jumps back and forth between the people on the train and then the people up in space. And that's a bit disjointed. I feel like that's my only kind of like the part where I'm like, you could have done that a bit better. It reminded me a bit of Detective Pikachu, which we're going to discuss later. I felt was all like lazy exposition.
Did you just compare fucking High Life Detective Pikachu?
I did, because I'm saying
I was
like
about to say,
just in a sense of lazy exposition.
I would love to see Pikachu.
They
in
kind
this
of
movie.
connected. It just made a connection in my head for some reason. It didn't feel quite as well put together as it should have felt in that kind of standpoint. In a sense, a lot of it really works, and I don't think there's really anything you can really complain about unless you get really nitpicky, which is just but to his their own, or to theirs their own, whatever. Same sentence. To each their own. Thank you. And just, I feel if you want to kind of view this film, it's really hard to just look at it like objectively, because there's so much about it. Like what you're gonna pull from the film, from your experience, is basically what you're gonna understand, what you're gonna be able to piece together. Because in a way, it's like a diet, like Upstream Color or a diet primer. It's very loose and not trying to go against what I said earlier, where everything feels super projected and still. While that is that, in the technical aspects, it feels very strong. Just the editing and how like the film itself is put together, like how it presents itself. It's like a body with the bones like disjointed and connected. It's like an archaeologist putting together pieces for a skeleton that they found for a dinosaur. And there's some pieces that don't really add up, and then there's some pieces that just fit perfectly and they keep on going, and then they finally make a curve and it just crashes into chaos. And that's just the film itself. I feel like the themes that it explores are huge in scale And I genuinely like the juxtaposition of like these huge ideas about humanity and sexual desire and human instinct and just evil that lies within people and all that just being held, all these huge ideas about people in general, about space, about time, about all this, and it's all contained into such like a claustrophobic space. All that, plus with the ending, which I definitely I've read and I've heard people complain like, oh, the ending, it's like it's so unsatisfactory because you get the whole fucking black hole scene where the bitch's head explodes and then she goes, whew, she just fucking disappears and shit. And I know a bunch of people, they were just like, dude, that part was so good, and then it went straight downhill from there. And I'm like, but why? Like, it's literally Robert Pattinson with his child. And I really,
no reason.
yeah, the thing is, with that is, it's Robert Pattinson with his child, and it's a bit, it definitely slows down. It halts gears because that's the climax of the movie, and that's the peak of anything violent. It's not the most vile thing in the film, but it's definitely the most violent. It's the most blood you're probably going to see on screen throughout the whole movie. It's definitely the most one of if not the most shocking things in the whole film. It's the peak of what the film is going to show you, and then it's just going to halt itself, and it's going to be like, it's Claire Denis just kind of saying, this is what I can give you with what I have. And then she just kind of pulls it down to earth, and she says, but this is what I'm going to give you, and this is what it means. And it's able to kind of challenge the audience in a way that it stays fresh, but also it feels like something you can understand that's not incomprehensible. Like, let's say if there's another film and it's like this and it's abstract as fuck and you can barely kind of piece it together until like your fourth or fifth watch or whatever, you can definitely piece together what the film tries to say a lot quicker than, let's say, something like not Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire. Like, I feel like I definitely feel it's very Lynchian in its just style. I feel because everything feels so
Well, I mean, in terms
fake.
of style, it kind of does feel a bit Lynchian, but in terms of the actual way this movie's put together,
Yeah.
it's very much its own thing.
Certainly.
I know that, Brian. I'm not trying to make that point. The point I'm trying to make is that
Sorry.
I'm sorry. No, the point I'm trying to make is I also wanted to get into this kind of little backdoor thematic that they have where just think about how the people on the ship are some of, like, just in general, the worst people and also the most, like, inhuman people. But for some reason, they're sent on this journey to fucking test on whether or not human life can really persevere in space. They're just the worst of humanity, the worst aspects of what we have to offer to the world. And just putting it in a situation where this is our last hope, in a sense, whether or not it is actually our last hope doesn't matter. Just in an idea, this could be our last hope. This is all we have. And it's such a raw and genuine, dark look on humanity that it works in a way without being so fucking, oh, humans. Oh, it's so bad. And I mean, that's what it was leading up to, a lot of it, until the last, like, 10, 20 minutes, which is it definitely made the movie for me, I think, because as much as all of this horrible shit happens to the characters and that they do to each other, it definitely helps the fact that Robert Pattinson, he has this time with his daughter where they're talking and they have an actual connection. And she's hopeful, she's optimistic. It's kind of a message about how the youth just wants to break free. They want to do something more because they already saw what happened to the past generation. Because I don't remember if it was explicitly or just even hinted at, but I'm pretty sure it definitely had to happen where he had to explain why he was the only person on the ship, right? Just, you can make an inference from that, and during, like, the final scenes, she's there just trying to be like, yeah, we can do this. We can escape. We can leave. We can do something better. We can do something new. Something that we haven't tried. Even if there's a huge chance that we're going to fail, even though there's a huge chance that we're going to die because of the fucking black hole, it's still worth trying because it's better than this. And at the end of the day, I feel High Life is probably one of the most endearing pieces of like human perseverance, just the will to push on I've seen in like a film in a very long time. And on top of that, just everybody's fucking fantastic in it. Great direction, great cinematography. I loved the score. It's such like an ambient fuck like fest. And I mean that in the best possible way because it's able to make you like gut tremblingly like disturbed. Like if we're gonna throw it back, we're gonna throw it back to the fuck box scene with Juliette Binoche when we're first introduced to it, and it's probably one of the most disgusting things I've seen in like a good couple of years, and it's because of how tense, and again back to the framing, how tense and how perfectly well done it is in a way where every single shot is just this like meshing of bones from her back, and then just it feels like her spine's like turning, and while it's turning your fucking gut's turning and you're just like, oh my god, why? But when you think about it, it's literally just masturbating. You're just masturbating. And the fact that it's also able to turn one of the most basic fucking human things into something more horrifying than any horror movie I've seen in a while is like, that's bravo. That's hats off.
Damn.
Oh yeah, that's a very big accomplishment. And I got to watch that scene in a theater full of 10 other people who
Lucky
I doubt
you.
any of the just the other 10 people who were with me just look like everyday people, and I doubt they got the movie that they were expecting. Well, I don't know what they were expecting.
Did any of them walk out?
No, none of them walked out. They all stayed, but none of them I'm glad none of them said anything during the movie. But they were all just like silent, dead silent during the whole movie, and I didn't get to hear what any of them said. But they didn't. I mean, I doubt they enjoyed it that much. Just like when I saw Beach Bum, it was filled with I think I'd say like 7 other people, and a few of them were like old people who I doubt got the movie they were expecting. Like, what's like a 60-year-old or 60 or 70-year-old man doing in a theater for fucking Beach Bum?
Hey, you don't know how many 60-year-old Harmony Korine fans there are?
Wait, they're
There
probably
are a
trash
couple.
talkers.
Shut up.
No,
No,
I
but
will refuse to shut up.
Just High Life is a good movie. I don't know. I really
I'll say
like
this,
it.
Mark. I'll say this,
It's
Mark.
very effective.
I think you've summed it up better than like most of us would be able to. So good job.
Yeah.
Well, all of you
It's,
sum up movies better than I do in general. I'm terrible at summing up movies.
It's something. It's really hard to describe. Actually, that's the thing with High Life, especially if you're just kind of having to throw it together on the spot, because there's just so much to talk about, and there's just so much thematic weight to a lot of what the film has to offer.
Especially,
And I really respect that about Claire Denis, because she usually does that. She always has something very poignant. What is it?
Poignant.
Potent, right?
Poignant.
Poignant. She has something very potion. She has something very poignant about her films.
Pointy.
There's always something that makes them stick out to you more than something else you'd see. She's just a very talented director, and yeah, she's great. And I think the reason it's not really a 5 or even like a 9 for me is just because as much as I really enjoyed what I got, I found it just a little bit messy. I'm still able to pull a lot of this stuff that I got from it, but I just find a bit of the execution just a little bit. I was just expecting a little bit more, not even from like trailers, more just from seeing what she's done as a director in the past. It definitely feels completely new. Like her whole things that she goes for here are completely different from all of her other films. I haven't seen a film like this from her.
I really like that. Also,
I just
when
wanted
you
more.
go into a film like by another director and you get something completely different to what they're used to doing, and
Yeah.
obviously when it works out.
How similar is High Life to all of Claire Denis' other movies? Like, well, I mean, it's all probably similar in terms of style. I mean, like, how
Thematically?
similar are they? Yeah,
Thematically, all of them, all the ones that I've seen, they've all held a lot of weight behind their choices and decisions and just what they kind of mean as a whole. They've all been very different, but some of them they've very much been like retreadings of like stuff that she's well known for, like Trouble Every Day or Bay Travel. Let the Sunshine In was alright. It was, except that was a bit more. She likes to tell human stories about human flaws and human intricacies, and she she's able to do it in such a distant way. Like, think Lanthimos, but is able to not just like, while Lanthimos is somebody who like bathes in the absurdity, much like Wes Anderson, she's able to play it very straight and very clean cut to the point where it's shockingly human, despite the fact that horrifying shit or just shit that's not even supposed to happen happens, and you're still able to go with it because of just how well she's able to set everything on the table and what she gives you.
So she's one of those directors who, in every one of their movies, could probably have like a different style, but there's those things in terms of like mainly in like the meat of the movie that like you can think about and be like, oh, this is the type of thing that she always does. Like,
Yeah,
like
she's
movie.
yeah. There are definitely a lot of films about human nature. They're just she always has something to say. That's something I've always really liked about her.
Because I love when directors do that. Like, no matter what style they're doing, they still always have those things that you go and look at, and you're like, "Oh, I'm watching a Claire Denis movie."
Yeah, and I feel like with Claire Denis, it's you can pick it up. It's a bit more difficult than a lot of other directors that you'd probably pick up immediately, just because like by the time you already realize, oh, this is Claire Denis, you're already about like 3/4 in the movie.
Well, yeah,
and you're just kind of you're kind of there already, just soaking in all of what's happening, and you're just like, wow, that just happened. But yeah, I really liked it. Great movie. It could have been better, I think, and that's why I'm kind of leaving space for the stars. I'm waiting for something. I'm waiting for something great or just something amazing because I want to get really blown away by one of her films. And I'm actually glad that I finally got to see one of her films in a theater for once, which was really nice. The audience I saw it with, though, they were okay. It was after the like lights went up. There was this old guy in the back, and he was just like, "That was one of the worst films I've ever seen." And I swear to God, it was the same. It was the same guy that I like. I remember because it's the voice. It was the same guy I saw. Like I saw Good Time in theaters, and what happened was I heard this old guy in the back, and he was just like, "That was the worst movie I've ever seen." And then this guy, like a couple rows down from me, he pretty sure he heard that too, and he was just like, "Well, then you haven't seen a lot of movies." And the guy, they just went back and forth, and I left. But it was the same guy. The old guy was the same guy, and I was like, "Why are you still watching these movies if you obviously know you don't like these?"
So I'm just going to quickly interject something. Can I quickly give my thoughts on High Life because I have to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, well,
so High Life, I was really, I really enjoyed this film like a lot, more than I even expected to in the end. I really adore films that are able to give you like surreal, dreamlike experiences. That's why, like, you know, over the past year, I really got into the works of David Lynch, and I definitely see, like, you know, why people compare these, but I loved this film. I'm not even going to pretend like I understood like a lot of it, but I just loved it's kind of hard to describe for me because it's one of those ones where I can't really say I understood the film, but I really, really enjoyed the experience of that the film gave me, and I just found it really interesting and intriguing from beginning to end. I thought it was visually amazing. I thought the soundtrack and the music was absolutely excellent. Performances were also just so good. And again, Robert Pattinson, again, I think he does another like excellent job. And he's really like, I know it's like, I know it's, you know, calling the sky blue by this point, but he has really like turned himself in this past year. And I'm really excited to see how he's going to fare in the new Robert Eggers movie, The Lighthouse, with Willem Dafoe. I would like to talk about it as in depth as Mark could, but I can't really say I can. I'll just leave it as I think it's excellent, and so far it's my number one of 2019. How that's going to fare in the future, I don't know, but even when going into it, like, I know it's completely it's probably the most letterbox thing to say, is that you have an A24 ranking, but like after watching it, it landed, I believe, like number 5 or number 6 on my A24 ranking of like, I don't know, 30 some odd movies. I loved, I don't know, 45 movies. Not that I mean to show off or anything. All right. As for now, I'm about to head out.
Bye,
love you like
Jack.
a brother, man. See you.
All right, so
See ya.
All right, Miss
It's
Friz.
been nice.
I'm about to head out.
Goodbye.
Jack, the rest of you guys summed it up pretty well. I mean, I wasn't that sure I was into it, but then as I started figuring it out more, I slowly found myself digging it a lot. A lot of you guys really said the same things I felt. I wasn't quite sure I understood it plot-wise, but I really enjoyed the experience it gave me. And overall, I think it was a really, really fascinating and amazing movie. And of course, Robert Pattinson is incredible, as he's done such a great job proving to me lately. And yeah, that's my thoughts on High Life.
So, do you guys want to go into the Pikachu is also a detective?
I know some of you may think different, but honestly, I thought this was really good. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I mean, I recognize there's some things that other people probably won't like about it, and I understand why, but at the same time, they didn't really bother me that much because this is one of those movies I think where the positives really outweigh the negatives for me. Because yeah, there's some sort of shoddy exposition. There's a lot of stuff that's predictable plot wise, but at the same time, I think it's done decently, and I think there's a lot of sincerity and heart to it that I think no other video game movie has done to this degree. I think,
Except
and
Alone in the Dark.
we do not sing high praise of Uwe Boll here. But
I was being sarcastic.
I know, but yeah, I think I admired it for that, and visually, I think it was really cool to look at. I think they nailed the designs of the Pokemon and incorporating them into a real world setting, which is more than I can say for some other people.
Meow.
I think the chemistry between Justice Smith and Ryan Reynolds is golden. I mean, they were really great together, bouncing off one another. And there's some really great comedic moments in this. Like, I won't go into specifics, but the Mr. Mime stuff is comedy gold. And honestly, I think it was, as far as video game movies go, this is objectively, I think, the first good one I think we've gotten. I mean, I know some of you guys may not agree, but
Well, Silent Hill, the first one.
yeah, but honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. I gotta say, Gary, whoever you are, he's the guy who gave me his extra ticket for the movie at an early screening, a ticket he was saving for someone who had just canceled on him. Because, so, I went to an early screening of this last week, and my dumbass didn't realize that until I was already in line that I was supposed to exchange my pass for an actual ticket at the booth. Link, until
At the Take Two podcast.
I was supposed to exchange my pass for an actual ticket beforehand, and they'd already sold out on tickets by the time I found out. So I was pissed, and I was just about to walk back to my car. In fact, I was actually, for a minute, I actually considered seeing Ugly Dolls instead, which I ended up seeing the next day, and I'm so glad I didn't see it that night because Ugly Dolls fucking sucks.
Oh, I would have felt so bad for you.
I was just about to walk back to my car when the guy asked me, what's wrong? And I told him I was about to see the Pikachu early, but I couldn't get a ticket. And he happened to have an extra ticket he was holding on to for the guy who just canceled on him.
That's like
And
fate.
he just gave it to me.
That is, you were lucky.
Yeah, I got so lucky. And I'm forever grateful to that guy. And I actually saw it again a few nights ago, and I think it still holds up pretty well. And yeah, I think it's really solid movie. And I'm not even that big of a Pokemon fan, and I think it would work better for fans than it would for non-fans. But I think it's solid.
Okay, me and Mark both agree on something for once. We both agreed that this movie.
What?
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm just shocked as you are, audience.
I know, right?
I thought this movie was some bullshit. I'm not gonna say this movie doesn't have redeeming qualities because it does. I really love it from a visual standpoint. I think, well, starts with the CGI, but I think the actual look of the look of the movie is very nice. I think the movie, the actual CG designs of the Pokemon range from Pikachu, who looks fucking adorable, to the rest of them, who some of them just look straight up gross looking. Other ones look fine. I think the movie has some nice little ideas. I liked how. Do keep in mind, I don't know jack shit about Pokemon. I just know Pikachu, and that's it. I played the original game for the Game Boy, but other than that, I'm not into the lore whatsoever. I mostly just don't care. So, speaking as someone who doesn't know enough about the actual Pokemon, I still feel like this movie seems like it works better as a standalone thing. Rather, if it was just a direct Pokemon movie, it probably would have been even worse. Because
it probably would have been worse.
Yeah, I'm glad this movie just more serves its own thing. Not saying I give them more points for that. Just I just think about the fact that, hey, could have been worse. I guess that's always a thing to say.
I guess.
I guess is it a positive to say it could have been so much worse?
It could have been way
Um,
worse.
Also, seeing Ryan Reynolds chew up the scenery, because here's the thing, he chews the fuck about the scenery in this entire movie. And
Yeah, he's
despite the fact that his voice doesn't fit at all, I do think, well, then again, you could say I guess his voice probably isn't that's because there's the whole twist at the end, where, should we spoil it?
No, he hasn't seen it yet.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit, I probably gave some big points to that. George didn't even care, so should we still do it?
Natural.
I don't mind.
George, do you care?
Yeah, I want to be surprised.
Okay, never mind. We won't.
You're
spoil
gonna
it.
see it from a mile away, just saying. But
Well,
like, yeah, we're not gonna see it.
Pretty obvious.
I didn't really see it.
I want to
But
be surprised.
I just thought it was more so like, well, because then again, this is Hollywood. Like, they're able to like cast a celebrity in the voices. Like, did you guys see the Captain Underpants movie where fucking Kevin Hart and Thomas Middleditch had their voices coming out, two little boys?
Well, they actually did a good job for the voices.
Oh, they did. They did, but it was a bit awkward seeing Kevin Hart's voice come out of like a character who's supposed to be like 10 years old. Yeah. Though, I mean, I prefer Kanye. I prefer Kevin Hart's voice work as Kanye West. But being honest with you, there are some things like those for me. Most of it. One thing I hated about it was, this is gonna sound like, oh, I don't like sitting through like slow movies like that, but I'm like, the pacing of the movie is way too fucking quick. Like, okay, so here's the thing. Picture how Justice Smith, Tim, and Pikachu first meet, and then literally, not even a minute later, they're already in this big chase scene where they're being chased by like chimpanzee Pokemon. Like, we don't even get like a full minute for them to fully meet until they're just like, they randomly segue into the scene. And Jeff, I respect your opinion by saying that they had chemistry, but I really didn't see any chemistry. Like, they didn't really feel too much like an actual pair.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And then when it asked you to like emotionally care for them,
yeah,
like the whole little scene they have, I'm just like, I don't give two shits.
So look, I'm not gonna spoil it because I know George probably wants to be surprised, but there's one pivotal scene where the movie seems like it wants you to care about their relationship, but I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I really didn't see any reason why I should care about them being friends now.
I give next door too little to any fuck about what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I understand that.
Also, the movie has cliches injected into its veins. There's the whole dead father cliche. And
Yeah.
the plot really doesn't feel like it really, okay, in my opinion, to me, it didn't really feel like it really went anywhere. Yeah,
You know,
also, the acting was fucking terrible. I forgot until I saw the credits that the girl who was in the movie was Catherine Newton, who was in Three Billboards, Lady Bird, and Blockers. I didn't even know. I heard she was in the movie, but I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And, like, she isn't too bad of an actress from what I've seen her in, but holy fuck, she is terrible in this movie.
Yeah.
And so is Three Billboards either.
Well, yeah, she wasn't really that good in Three Billboards.
I mean, for me, what I consider bad acting, for me, across most when it's obvious that they're not even trying at all. I'll give it Catherine Newton. She at least was trying. She may have not done that great of a job, but at least putting effort. Like,
I mean, Brie Larson tried to Captain Marvel and still wasn't good. So,
like, I'm talking about when I think bad acting.
Simon's gonna kill me.
Girl in Dumbo, like, holy fuck.
Oh yeah, the kid acting in Dumbo was fucking awful.
Oh, that shit was awful.
Why Dumbo?
Speaking of Disney remakes, I'm being dragged to see Aladdin, so that's fun.
Yeah, I'm not bothering with Aladdin or Lion King.
And I could care less about Aladdin. And here's the thing: this month there's so many movies I want to see, and I'm gonna be dragged to Aladdin with one of them. I don't want to see Aladdin at all. I could literally care less.
Yeah, fuck that. Just so Rocket Man.
I want to see Rocket Man, and I'm gonna try my best to go the early access because I think it's actually gonna be playing near me. So I'm gonna be jumping on that. I don't really have much else to say. There was some other problems. I think. Oh yeah, the humor doesn't land most of the time. Most of it's just. Here's the thing. One thing with the humor, there's a couple jokes that I actually chuckled at. But one of them was in the trailer for one thing, and the other two, I just mostly chuckled at. There wasn't like a full-on laughing moment. Here's the thing. Take away Pokemon. This movie's just your typical kids movie. Just take away the Pokemon branding, take away Pikachu, take away everything. This movie is no different than your typical shitty kids movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's really like this movie. Like, here's the thing. I've seen so many movies with this particular 3-act structure so many times. It's so fucking familiar. Also, here, I did like what they did with the twist, but at the same time, like, I've seen so many movies like this. I've seen so many movies with the same villain. I've seen so many movies with the same things that happen. I've seen way too many movies where things exactly like this happen, to the point where I can't even care. I mean, I don't care regardless, but I mean, like, Jesus. I've seen 10,000 movies exactly like this, and I've seen these tropes done so much better in other ones. So what's this movie really even giving me besides some nice visuals, maybe some creative ideas, and maybe a couple jokes that are chuckle worthy? But I don't know. I feel like this movie would have been a lot better if Alex Hirsch was involved, like I think he was going to. Well, I don't know if he was going to, but it was possible for him to be involved. If he was involved, this movie would have been so much better. But I digress. So yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I mean, I had a fun time watching it with my friends, and I am shocked that my theater was able to shut the fuck up for most of this movie. I mean, the only time there was something that really annoyed was there was a baby who was crying in a couple parts, but even then, it didn't last too long.
How it was. That's how it was when I saw it.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. And the same thing happened to me when I saw How to Train Your Dragon 3, but the thing is, in How to Train Your Dragon 3, it was a baby who was crying, like, during the entire third act, and they never bothered taking the fucking kid out. I was able to still pay attention to the movie,
I mean,
but
mine, they bothered to take the kid out.
yeah, did I talk about my theater experience for How to Train Your Dragon 3 that much?
I don't think it.
It was just that there was a baby crying, there were some kids who wouldn't shut the fuck up, and there were also, like, 3 people on their phone throughout, like, the entire movie. So yeah, fuck movie theater. But then again, my worst theater experience in so long is my one for Endgame when I saw it again. I've talked enough about that. Well, I had talked about it on the podcast. So when I saw Endgame a second time, there was a family during the first 15 minutes who wouldn't shut up and talked like full volume, but they eventually shut up, so I give credit to that. And then throughout the entire there was also a guy who was on their phone throughout the entire not the entire movie, for the entire second half with the brightness on. So I could notice that, but it was all the way at the front of the theater, so I couldn't really do anything once I got up. So it was out of the corner of my eye. And throughout the entire movie, there was this little girl who was behind me who kept kicking my seat, kicking my friend's seat, kept making noises to herself, kept talking, doing all this shit, kept moving around, had flashing shoes on. So that shit went off multiple times. And when I shushed her, me and my friend shushed her, she made noises shushing us back. So she's just essentially, she doesn't know how to be parented. And the dad she was with did jack shit to try and help with this throughout 75% of this movie. It wasn't until like the movie was like mostly over to where he started saying like, okay, if you keep acting like this, we're gonna leave. I was like, thank you for finally being a reasonable fucking parent. But you should have done that way earlier. If I were him, I would have taken the kid out of the theater 5 minutes in. I'm like, I don't care how much you want to see this movie. You're gonna act like that, we're not watching it.
Yeah, flashing shoes need to be banned in theaters.
See, if my kid wanted to wear flashing shoes to a movie, I'd throw that shit out the window. I'd set those on fire. Here's the thing: why do flashing shoes even
suck
exist?
in general.
Why do those exist?
Well,
Why do they exist?
People want to show off. That's
Just
why.
so little Billy can look cool on the playground. Like, what the fuck? You're 5 years old. You don't need to show off.
It's not
It's
even
not
going to
fucking
look cool
Gucci.
in the daytime. You're not going to be able to show off to the kids at school when you can't even see the lights in daytime, so it doesn't fucking work.
Exactly. If you play it at night, if you have them on at nighttime, it's probably need to be dark because of the fact that it's most likely in a fucking theater. Why do they exist? I see no point.
Just to annoy people and to show off.
Yeah.
That's what.
If they're gonna exist, don't bring them into a fucking movie theater because that happened when I saw Beauty and the Beast a couple years ago. And when I saw Detective Pikachu, I got so worried because when I got to use the bathroom on my way out, I saw a little kid wearing flashing flip-flops. I was like, oh god, are those gonna go off during the movie and I'll have to see the colors from down in the theater throughout the entire movie? But thankfully, if they did go off, I didn't notice them, so there's that. Thank God I didn't experience flashing shoe colors throughout the entire movie. I'll say there's that. So fuck movie theater experiences. It's a shame because I love going to movies and sometimes I gotta deal with this bullshit.
Yeah, it
But I
sucks.
digress.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So yeah, I gave my thoughts on Detective Pikachu. If you want to see it, go see it. If you're a huge Pokemon fan, the movie's for you probably.
You may like it, you may not. Yeah, whatever. Go see it.
Just go. Just go. And I recommend you probably bring friends because I wouldn't imagine this movie would be pleasant to sit through alone.
And if you're a fan of Pokemon, you'll probably like it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll love it if you're a huge fan of Pokemon. People are loving this movie way more than I did, and I'm very, very happy there. Here's the thing: when someone doesn't like, when someone likes a movie I didn't like, I'm genuinely happy because I'm like, you got to enjoy something from this movie that I just couldn't, and I like that. Mark, sorry for taking so long to get to you. You give your opinion on this film. Marcus. Hello? He has his mic off, but he was here like a minute ago. Did I just take too long to get to them?
Did he fall asleep like in the last episode?
Oh, no. No, that was you. Oh, wait, actually, was that him?
Yeah, that was him. Because Adam left, and then it was just you and me.
Yeah, I think Mark is asleep. Thank God I'm
Damn
the
it.
one recording.
Okay, well, I can
Thank you,
very
Robert.
briefly say, do not watch The Curse of La Llorona. That movie's awful.
But I love Linda Cardellini, though, so maybe I'll have to suffer through it.
I said in my Letterboxd review that she probably only did this movie so that she could distance herself from Green Book, but I said that as a joke. So,
People aren't mad at her for Green Book.
I know!
People
That's
are mad at Viggo
lying.
Mortensen for being in Green Book.
Yeah, she was fine in Green Book anyway.
Oh, yeah. I actually loved her in Green Book. I don't care what y'all say.
No, I said that as a joke to begin with.
Well, I know that. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
all for listening in. We hope we provide you some interesting opinions. None of them will probably come from me because I'm terrible at giving my opinions. Thank you all. Subscribe to the Tick with YouTube if you want to. Do hit us up on Twitter and Letterboxd. Yeah, go
Check
see
out
us.
my newest ship-post on my YouTube channel, where I
hit me
put
up.
the Detective Pikachu dancing video to a 6ix9ine song. No, I actually did it.
But okay, just remember when you see me on Tinder, please make sure to swipe right. Good night,
When you
everyone.
see me
Good night.